and also purchased a gun because he is like, this bitch crazy. I need a gun. So he got a gun and he did it legally and he got a concealed weapon permit to protect himself from any danger. And by danger, her name is Larissa. We need to make a country song about that. Danger, her
Her
name
name
is
is Larissa.
Larissa. So, uh, on April 30th, 2003, records showed that a 55 gallon blue barrel was purchased and sent to Larissa's place of business. Her her business, whatever. And Larissa used to tell the employees, remember, she used to run around telling everybody she could kill her husband. So naturally, who else do you tell? The people who work for you. She told them, I could kill my husband, I could get away with it, and nobody ever find out. Even though I've told you, I've told John, I've told Lisa, Bob, I told the janitor. On the way home, I got stopped for a ticket, and I told that cop. I told the principal at my kids' school. I told my kids. I told his mom. Who else did I tell? I told my pastor. I forgot about that. I went and got my dog fixed yesterday. I did tell the vet. So, I can't kill that dude. Nobody will find out, but even though I've told half the town, like, I don't understand that mentality. Do you?
Right.
Do you?
I mean, I don't. No, I have no words.
But everybody that she told, for some reason, they all took it as a joke. If somebody's
Right.
running around telling me they can kill their husband, and I'm pretty sure she said it on multiple occasions, I'm not taking that as a joke.
I don't think I could do that once, actually. Not once. If I just hear it once, I'm not going to take it as a joke. I'm gonna really pay more attention to that person and really watch their behavior, and I'm going to consider that in my mental file. I wouldn't think it was funny though.
Well, yeah, I'm definitely leaving. I know you're gonna kill your husband. Ah!
Yeah.
Tell me another joke. No, I'm quitting and I'm getting far away from you because even if you call the cops, they're going to be like, did you just hear her say that? Did you see her put a pickaxe in his head? No. Or as one of our other people did in one of our other shows, what was it? Shoot him with what was it called? A bow and arrow? Was it a bow and arrow in his face? Remember, she
Wow.
accidentally shot him with a crossbow while he was sleeping.
Oh, yes.
Accidentally.
Yes. That
You
was
don't
a
remember
crazy episode.
that one?
Yes. Absolutely. Yeah, I do. Absolutely, I do. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
But it was
So,
an accident, though. It was an accident. I didn't mean to do it.
quote. I'm doing air quotes like crazy. I didn't mean
Yeah,
to
I
shoot him
know.
in
They
the
are
head
not
with
the
a
old air quotes. That's
whatever.
okay. If we could remember the episode, we can tell our listeners to go tune into it. It's one of two. Maybe throughout this show it'll come back to me. Oh, we'll see.
Dude, I'm gonna let you know right now. I don't remember. I research all this stuff and I come up with all the stories. I don't remember which episode it is. Just listen to all our episodes. You'll find it.
That's all you have to do. It's really
www.murderandlove.com.
a simple solution. Like I said, just listen, sign up on our Patreon, become a subscriber, and you won't miss any of the fun.
I
Yeah,
promise you. I
absolutely.
bet my check on it. You will find it.
You will, and then tell a friend.
On July 9th, 2003, Timothy and one of his other co-workers, Mary Solis, which was also a good friend of his, didn't say that they were in a relationship, just good friends and co-workers. So they either got fired or released from their job, but they lost their jobs at the same time. So I'm thinking, being that they lost their
How
jobs at
cool
the
is
same time,
that?
it's either one or two things. Either
Mhm.
they were fraternizing, which is
Yeah. Yeah.
not which is frowned upon at work,
Absolutely. Still is.
or the company was downsizing and so they were letting go people. So those are the only two things I could come up with. It could be something completely different and I could be completely wrong, but this is just me
And they were
brainstorming here.
letting them go in twos. Hey, you and you. Yeah.
Yeah, right. Eeny, meeny, miny, you too. Yes, go ahead. Bye.
Yeah.
So he had dinner with Mary Solis, Bob Solis,
Mhm.
and Victor Uribe, something. Victor
Oh my
Uribe
gosh.
Jr.
Seriously, Kai, I can't see the paper trail here. How do you spell that?
Uribe, Uribe, Uribe. I don't know. So while they were having dinner, they decided to make plans to meet up the next day. So, um, Tim was just fired, Mary was just fired, or whatever, let go. And so, they kind of want to not let them get depressed. So they made plans to meet for breakfast the next day. So the next day comes around, and Tim didn't show up. And apparently, when you're being released at your job, that's right, he worked in a hospital, so they were maybe downsizing. I guess hospitals do downsize. But anyways, apparently when you're losing your job at a hospital, you have to do an exit interview. So he didn't show up for breakfast that morning, and he also didn't show up for his exit interview at the hospital. And he was supposed to pick up his son from Larissa, and he didn't even show up for that. So I don't know. Victor went to Tim's house to, go ahead and check on him. Like, this isn't like him. He didn't show up at the hospital for his exit interview. He didn't show up for breakfast. He didn't call anybody to let them know what was going on. So he went to check on his friend. Knocked on the door, but nobody answered. So after a while of not hearing from him, they were probably calling him, knocking on his door, everything, no answer. So they went ahead and called the cops. But the cops told them they had to wait for 24 hours before they were able to file a missing persons report, which I hate that so much. You know what could happen in 24 hours? Ugh.
Actually, depending on where you live, I thought it was 72, 3 days. I've been told 3 days. And I've seen that happen. It depends on where you live.
I guess it depends on where you live. So in this area on this report, it said 24 hours.
That's not bad. That's not bad. Opposed to waiting 3 days, that's not bad.
So around this same time, the people from Larissa's work, from her business, noticed that the blue barrel was also missing from the lab, as well as a bottle of chloroform.
Wow.
And so they were just like, oh, that's interesting, because if you work in a lab, you have to account for everything. If something's missing, you could be in trouble. If it's missing on your watch, you're starting to shit yourself because crap, where did it go?
And chemicals as well, everything.
So they waited the 24 hours, and then the next morning, Robert went ahead and filed a missing persons report with the Clovis Police Department. And Officer John Willow went out to Timothy's house to investigate, but Timothy didn't answer. He looked in a window, he didn't see anything. So he went back to the police station, and they actually went ahead and were able to send detectives out to investigate this. So they sent out Vincent Wiebert and Larry Kirkhart. And when they got to the house, they actually entered the premises and looked around, and they didn't find Timothy anywhere. So they looked at his caller ID to see, who was the last person to call him, and all it showed was one call, which was received at 2:02 a.m., and it was Larissa's cell phone number. So they asked Larissa to come on down to the police station to talk to her, because I just wanted to ask her some questions about her missing husband. So when Vincent and Larry went back to the police station and talking to John and everything, they kind of found it suspicious that he was just gone. So they kind of, Larissa suddenly just became a prime suspect, and, where's your husband? It's been 24 hours. Nobody's heard from him. Job, friends, nothing. He didn't come pick up his son, anything. So she was initially interviewed by the Clovis Police Department. So she went down there with a friend, and the interview was conducted by detectives Kirkhart and Wiebert, I think his name is. I could be saying the name wrong. But Larissa said that her and Timothy were going through a divorce, and they were having a hard time with communications. She said that, even though she had the kid and he should be talking to her, they don't really talk that much. And she kind of played up the victim card. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he doesn't talk to me that much. We got the kid. We got, we went through a hard divorce, but now we should be friends. But he really doesn't talk to me that much. So she played up like the victim card. She also said that the last message she received from Timothy was on Tuesday, the 8th, where he had told her that he was going to pick up their son on Thursday at 6 p.m. But then he just, didn't show up. She tried calling him, but she couldn't reach him. And remember, when they looked at the caller ID, the only number that came was hers at 2:02 a.m. So I'm like, you tried calling him at 2 in the morning? Like, what time was he supposed to pick up his son? That doesn't even make sense. But anyway, that's just me. So, she also told the detectives that on Thursday evening, she had heard that Timothy had lost his job, so she tried to call him around 8:30 p.m. To, say, hey, I'm sorry you lost your job, which that doesn't sound like her at all, but, she tried to call him around 8:30, like, I just heard you lost your job. I'm so sorry to hear that. Everything going on okay. But he didn't answer, so she left a message, and she asked him to call her back. So detectives were like, okay, we hear all this. That's all nice. So, where were you on the day that Timothy disappeared? And so she said, oh, yeah, I was at work all day. I run my own business, so I had to be there to watch my employees. She also said that her shoulder was bothering her on that day. So, after work, her and her son watched a movie that evening while she was waiting for Timothy to come get him. And then they fell asleep on the couch. And then at some point in time, she woke up and she noticed that her cell phone had dialed out. So like a butt dial or a cheek dial or whatever you would call it. So she noticed that her cell phone had dialed out. And, she thought maybe she rolled over on it and, accidentally hit some kind of button.
Yeah.
And it probably called Timothy at that time. But she said I sure didn't, talk to him, and I sure didn't call him at 2:02 a.m. Like I didn't do it on purpose. It must have been when I was sleeping. One of the detectives was like, okay, I hear you. That could happen. So can I see your phone? And she was like, oh shoot, I wish you would have told me you wanted my phone, because I sure done plumb left it at home.
You plumb left it at home. Okay.
Yeah, so they kind of talked to her for a little while longer, and asked her if she wanted help in trying to go through her husband's disappearance, and she was like, no, it's okay. I really don't need help. So they ended up letting her go because there's no evidence about anything. So they went ahead and let her go. They asked her if she needed a ride home. And she said, no, I got my car. Me and my son can manage. My friend's right here with me. We can manage. Thank you. So she went ahead and left. And Weebert just was like, this story of her accidentally dialing, Timothy's number while she was asleep, I've never heard of that. That's, what I'm saying? You would have to have him on call waiting, and I really doubt you had him on call, not call waiting. What was it when you dialed like one number, like you hit one and it went to your mom's number or something? What was that called?
Dial. It's called speed dial.
That's it.
The Ky,
Yeah.
there's butt dial, there's pocket dial, and there's obviously bed dial. So it was a bed dial. She was asleep.
I've never done that. Have you done that?
You roll over, hey, boom, I called you. I just rolled over.
You
on
have
my back.
done that?
My back did it. Well, not exactly, but I've done plenty of butt dials. It's the same difference. I mean, if your phone is lying next to you and you roll over on your back, but she was reaching. She was reaching for that, like reaching for the excuse type of thing. It's like, come on, lady, what are the chances? You can try it.
Well, anyway, Weebert thought that was a weird story, so. And then on top of that, the fact that she didn't bring her phone with her, that was even weird. Like, who doesn't bring their phone with them? What's the point of a cell phone? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he was about to go out and speak to Larissa's friend, who she said that this friend came with her, but there was nobody there. And so then he went outside, and there was only one car parked in front of the police station, and that was Larissa's car. And then, on top of that, as he's, looking at the car, he noticed the cell phone was right there on the center console. Yeah.
Yeah, she could have just went to the car to get it. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's like, rational thinking. This could have been her friend's phone, or somebody left their phone in her car, whatever. So he called her number and watched it light up, and he watched the phone start ringing. So that was Larissa's phone that she was acting like she didn't have. So he went back into the police station and told Kirkhart about it. Yeah, so then I guess when he went out to look at this, she was still in the police station. Kirkhart told Larissa about what Weebert said, and he asked her to confirm her story about accidentally dialing her phone. And, she said, yeah, this is what happened.